This week's Farm Basics is brought to you by satshot.com. Satellites aren't just for NASA anymore. Use the power of satellite imagery to create variable rate management zones in your fields. To reduce input costs and increase yields on your farm, go to satshot.com.
During our Farm Basics time today, we wanted to talk about why some farmers leave strips of crop out in the field. Isn't that a waste? Isn't their money just standing out in the field? Why did they leave it out there?
Well, this fall, as wet as it was in some parts of the country, there are some irregularly shaped strips that got left out there. We aren't talking about that, where there are wet holes and a farmer just couldn't harvest it.
That's one of the reasons why there might be some crop left in the field. The farmer just can't get to it. It's too wet. The crop is either too wet or the ground is too wet, so they might leave it stand out there.
One other thing along those lines, and if we're going to take some of the off-the-wall ideas here, there are also some strips of crop that get left for insurance people to take a look at. Maybe you're harvesting the crop, it turns out very poorly, you need to prove that to your insurance company, so you leave a few strips out in the field.
Well, a good example this fall is we had an unusual thing happen in our part of the country. There was a lot of mold getting started in corn before it came out of the field. So the insurance companies were requiring farmers to leave, say, 6 rows every 40 rows or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was so many rows every so often they had to leave out there for the insurance adjuster to come out and check before that got harvested.
Okay, well this was my big idea, is explain what's going on in the fields when there's some strips. What I'm most interested in is why there are some planned strips, especially you see it with corn, where there's a few rows of corn that a farmer leaves the full length of the field, and you may wonder, why is that going on? Well, one of the big things in drier parts of the country, farmers want to catch whatever snowfall comes in that area and keep that moisture out in the field, because they may not get that much moisture the rest of the year. So farmers will leave a strip of corn out in the field. It acts as snow fence or a snow break, and you'll see drifts of corn that catch on either side, or drifts of snow that catch on either side of the corn. Sorry, I'm getting all twisted here. But it's really interesting, because as you move further west in the Corn Belt, farmers will actually see a big boost in yield where they leave that strip. So they catch all that snow, there's more moisture that soaks right into the ground in that part of the field, and the corn or whatever crop you plant next year really responds to that.
Well, we live in the state of South Dakota, and one of the biggest industries here is tourism because of hunting. So people will come here to hunt deer or hunt pheasants. So you find a lot of farmers all across our state that put in what they call food plots. So they're purposely putting some crop out there, and they'll leave some strips really all winter long, just so the deer can feed, or the pheasants, or maybe some other animal that they're trying to keep alive. So that's probably the biggest reason in our state why you would see these strips of crop left out in the field.
Oh, you also see strips of crop on certain stretches of road, right along the side of that road, to try and catch snow in the field rather than a spot where it may commonly drift across the roads. This is a really nice thing that some farmers will do, primarily because they live in that area and don't want to have to have the drifts they plow out on the road, but also to be nice to the neighboring population as well.
Well, once again, there are a lot of reasons why farmers may leave strips of crop out in the field, but one reason they won't do it is to control our weed of the week. Can you identify this week's weed?